He has given Liverpool wonderful service. And by the way, even when Real Madrid return to Anfield, which may just happen in the coming season, he will get a wonderful reception.
Steve McManaman, another thing he touched on at this event where I spoke to him was, Trent Alexander-Arnold's move, which he actually did a very similar thing. On a Bosman, they called it at the time, a free transfer, went from Liverpool, his boyhood club, local lad where he came up in the academy, makes the big move at 26 or 27 to the biggest club in world football. The interesting thing hearing him talk about it, and as I think more about it, is I think that the reception was more severe for Trent for maybe more than one reason, but one reason seems to me to be the changing media environment and sort of the fan and cultural environment around football between, even though I guess those are 20 years apart, maybe 25, but it feels like a different world in which Trent made his move from Steve McManaman, unless maybe you think it's not so different.
No, I think it's a harsher world. I'm very fortunate that CBS have given me the opportunity to continue my career, and I'm still as enthusiastic about it each and every game that I do, and I hope that I can still do the job. But occasionally, and I hate myself for thinking like this, but occasionally I think to myself, I've had the best years. That the nature of the jeopardy now with social media, the intrusion, the abuse is, it's from a distance. It's not like there's somebody throwing bricks through your windows. It's not, they're not in the HUD. It's not like living in a project. I've been very, very fortunate throughout my life generally. And I'm not sure that sometimes you can equate it to the real threat of living in a dangerous world. But it's still, it's still a distraction. And I think it probably starts to condition the way you broadcast. And, with somebody like Trent Alexander-Arnold going through his final months at Liverpool, you multiplying anything I've just talked about by 100, maybe 1,000, maybe more, because the level of attention on him and his every move was just exaggerated to the point where I bet he couldn't wait for the clock to tick down and get the hell out of there and start again. He'd taken his decision, which he was entitled to do. He has given Liverpool wonderful service. And by the way, even when Real Madrid return to Anfield, which may just happen in the coming season, he will get a wonderful reception. Once we get very emotional about our sports teams, and we feel as if we have an ownership over players and managers, coaches. We therefore judge them in a way that we've no right to, because we don't know them. We never get to meet them, but we feel as if we know them. We assume things about them. We read things about them, some of them untrue. We form impressions, which are done from a distance, but actually the lens of the TV camera is so big now that it doesn't feel like a distance. So, I think once the kind of emotion has subsided a little bit, that Trent Alexander's place in Liverpool's modern history is secure and will be respected. And I actually hope that he gets the opportunity to go back, because I think the love will return then. It is a really, really important part. I don't know again about US sports, but for a club like Liverpool, which is, Liverpool's like New York City, really. It's kind of a nation within the nation. If you come from New York City, you're not an American, you're a New Yorker. And if you come from Liverpool, you're not an English person, you're a Scouser. And that there is a special pride that goes with that. And that pride shines through most obviously when the football teams are successful. And so to have Liverpudlians in a Liverpool team, in an Everton team, which is the other big club in the city of Liverpool, is kind of important. It's kind of a connection between the Scousers on the Kop, who paid the hard-earned money to go and watch, and the heroes out there in the middle. And I think it's the same with a club like Newcastle United, where everybody who comes from that area is a Geordie. To see Geordies in the team, you can still love the South Americans and the East Asians and the Southern European, the Spaniards, the Italians who play for you. But there's something special about one of your local boys. I mean, you're a Knicks fan. If there's a New Yorker in the team, does that mean more to you?
Yeah, I think, and having been to Liverpool this January, I was lucky to go to Goodison and Anfield, and somebody, a Liverpudlian, said to me that it's a place apart, and I think you're exactly right to compare it to New York, in that New York is the most important city in America, which may be a little different from Liverpool, but it is a place where your city affiliation comes first, as you said. The difference in American sports, I think, is that because of the draft system and the fact that most players go to college first and they're sorted somewhat randomly in a way, it's harder to have that, academy kid feeling about players.
Yeah.
It seems like almost, in my experience as like a New York Knicks fan, for instance, it just seems sort of lucky when you get a guy from the Bronx or Brooklyn or wherever it may be playing for the Knicks, and it's usually their second contract or their third contract, and they've come as a free agent or in a trade.
But if they've been a Knicks fan when they were 10, that surely means something, yeah?
Yes, and I think Carmelo Anthony, who was a phenomenal player for the Knicks, I think he was a childhood Knicks fan, and people do like that, but I think it's so close to home in a place like Liverpool because also the best players from that area, they're all trying to get into the Liverpool Academy, and the ones that make it through and make it to represent the first team, and they walk out on the pitch at Anfield, and You'll Never Walk Alone is playing. That is sort of impossible to replicate in New York or anywhere in the U.S., I think.